This is the question. Why isn't Bitcoin moving? Inflation came in good today. We had a good bond auction. That's 2 out of 3 bond auctions that would give us the idea that foreigners are interested in US debt. So why has Bitcoin not moved? I mean, someone did provide a valid point right now saying that they're consolidating Bitcoin and going into XRP. Well, if you want to put your Bitcoin in the bin, then XRP is the place to go. This market is very interesting because it's been driven by macroeconomic data and whether or not deals are going to come into play. By the way, Trump's going to be speaking very shortly to a closed press, so we're still probably going to be getting some surprises. But what I'm going to do tonight, guys, is I'm just going to break down where we are from a technical point of view with regards to various assets with Forex, the stock market, the bonds, and Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. Because when you are relying on the market to do something and it doesn't, it could imply it's preparing for something else or it's just not ready to move just yet. So we get good ideas about inflation. We've got the prospect of interest rates being cut because that's what they're doing. They're pricing that all in. Do you think they would be moving everything now on that data? Or would they keep prices where they are? I mean, the NASDAQ took a little bit of a tumble to the downside, spent most of its day around a VWAP, then moved away from it. And now it's trying to work its way back up a little bit. I think the Asian session this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be an interesting one. So let's get with the program, break it all down for you, and let you guys continue about your day. Check the story out. Here we go. So yeah, the S&P is close to its all-time highs. And this is the second time that information has come out about the US economy that the market hasn't reacted to. I mean, you go back to May 13th when we got the inflation reading and that came in lower, happy days. The NASDAQ just went for it to the upside. But it really only moved because there was prospects that a possible deal with China was going to come into play. Trump had said something. Okay. But again, we've got the data that come out today that would suggest that everything's all good for inflation, and it wasn't. Check this out. Why has it been reset? Hold on. Here we go. So 2.4%. That's good news. 0.1% on the core CPI, which is the main metric that the Federal Reserve uses to work out whether they should be cutting rates or not. Came in good. Your bond auction came in good today as well. So why isn't anything moving? Well, let's just dive into it. Bitcoin. Tests the daily open, comes back down, and ends up where it was yesterday. Not bad. I mean, hey, Bitcoin's doing better than XRP, and XRP actually cleared its highs, traded positive, but actually XRP is doing way better than Bitcoin. But anyway, XRP, it's a dustbin, so don't worry about it. The only thing that's moved is Euro. I mean, Euro, bloody yeah, we were expecting Euro to try and make a little bit of a reversal, but damn, Euro did not do that. So why is Euro moving up? Why is gold moving up? Why is gold positive? Why is NASDAQ just not doing anything? Why are the bonds up? Why are the yields down? Why are the yields down and the NASDAQ flat? This is a representation of what really investors think. Is it worth me using my dollars? Really isn't. That's what this is saying. Dollar dominance being down again, it's just not doing anything. It's just going so bad that even the euro is getting the limelight right now. Articles are coming out saying that the euro is just doing wonderful things, and it's really challenging investors because they're like, hold on a second, I may as well just go to the euro. But when you look at it, the euro isn't really performing that good as we would be expecting it, which tells you that investors are caught in between the idea of, yes, I should get onto risk. No, I'm not going to go into risk. I'm going to go into a safe haven. I'm going to put my money in euros because my dollar is really bad. Euro, in my opinion, should be continuing. I mean, this is its yearly highs, and it's very close towards it. Let's go and have a look at where the stock market is overall. Now, given that the stock market, we need to make sure that we're getting good days of volume to the upside. Okay, so yesterday was an accumulation day. Going into today, it's deemed now as a sell-off. That's a problem because it's now logged itself another distribution day. So that means there's 4 distribution days on the NASDAQ and 3 distribution days on the S&P. So as they're marking up, they're selling. Yeah? Remember what we said about smart money, dumb money? Oh, is he talking? No. Remember what we said about this? This is a smart money, dumb money chart. I need to see this blue line hit an extreme. And that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for that extreme to come into play, which does suggest that the market is moving higher. Okay? But as the market moves higher, the distribution days are starting to mount. So if the distribution days are starting to pick up, it means that institutional investors are selling as prices are going up. And usually when you see a collection of distribution days, which is volume above average, look at the 50-day down there, volume above average, and it's negative, it's telling you they're offloading stock. Now, earlier on this morning, we saw Barclays and them JP Morgan. They're all talking that they're favoring equities to move higher. Naturally, the S&P is close towards its all-time high. So naturally, we think there is going to be a blowout top. But the problem with today's data is it looks like the tariffs haven't really been absorbed by the consumer yet. Tariffs haven't really been put onto producers, manufacturers. And that's what the expectation is. They're expecting that the tariffs are going to be inflationary. And that's what every single Fed speaker has come out with. Then you see comments like this. You know who this guy is? One of the vets, the top boy of trading, Paul Tudor Jones. He says the following: the roadmap is clear and inflation will be allowed to run hot with plus 3.5% as the US tries to climb out of its debt. How many of you believe that the US can actually climb out of its debt? Trump wants to put these tax cuts, which naturally brings it up. Did anyone hear Bessent say today that they're going to increase the debt ceiling again? No. Why isn't anyone talking about that? Of course your deficit's going to be wild. That makes sense as to why we're not getting the major push that we want. Why are we not seeing these big, bold moves on good news? Because investors are not liking it. You can see how fragile the market is when you got wicks up and down. Investors are very short term with their expectation of the future. Quickly make some money and then take some money. They will clear the all-time highs, but it's going to be one of the most jig-jag, ragged, rough madness. And that's why you got to be very, very careful when you are trading, because it can be very tough trying to pinpoint if price is going to hold one point or the next. Now, when we look at the daily time frame for the NASDAQ, it's going to help us understand exactly where we are with crypto. Look at it. It's not as smooth as you would like it to be, but they are trending to the upside. 5 and 13 EMA are pointing upwards, 50 EMAs pointing upwards. And if you guys want to understand where you are in terms of momentum, the best way for it is to do this. Imagine you've got yourself, well, hold on, we'll do this. This should make it easier for you. Imagine you've got a clock, okay? If the 50 EMA, now the 50 EMA is this purple thing right here, okay? 50 EMA, right? If the 50 EMA is pointing to 1 o'clock, wait, we'll do it like this. There you go. If it's pointing to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, you've effectively got upside momentum, okay? So when you can look at the 50 EMA and it's got that structure where it's pointing to like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock on the clock dial, then you've got upside momentum. If you've got the 50 EMA pointing down 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock, you would say that that's momentum to the downside. So let's just go and have a look. What time is it, ladies and gentlemen? It looks like it's around 2 o'clock. All right. If you just take this. There you go. 50 EMA going into 2 o'clock as just a representation of how to work out if momentum's coming into play, right? Let's do the same for good old BTC. Bitcoin. What's the 50 EMA doing? Well, it looks like... No, I'm joking. Bitcoin, in principle, is pointing 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, only just for a little bit of time, because it might end up going to 6 o'clock out of nowhere. I'm joking. But we can safely say the 4-hour time frame, it's momentum to the upside. And then, of course, on the daily, it's safe to say that Bitcoin is pointing upwards. So we've got momentum to the upside. Ultimately, what you've got to prepare yourself for is the whipsaw price action. Because as long as Bitcoin stays above the 50 EMA, ladies and gentlemen, you've got no reason to be concerned about Bitcoin going down. And that's the truth. The ultimate thing is you've got to try and be able to capture any options or opportunities where Bitcoin dips down towards specific moving averages. So if it comes down between the 5 and 13 EMA, then that for me would be a good buying opportunity on the assumption that there is going to be progress in Bitcoin to continue to the upside. You see, the China deals now, it's done. And they said it today, that the deal with the Eurozone, that's going to be the tough one, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. As early as next week, we're going to be getting more deals. So we know that this weekend, it's going to be a very interesting one. We could get more information about the market and about trade deals. But I don't think anybody cares about any other deals around the world. They're talking about Canada and Mexico, but it's the Eurozone, because that's going to determine whether or not investors start to get very comfortable with either staying in euros or converting over to dollars. You see, when you've got so much debt, it doesn't help that your native currency itself is just depleting in value. So that means now you're going to have to pull up more dollars to service your debt. This is a problem for the United States. Your dollar has no purchasing power, and it's going to hurt industries. It's going to hurt everyone when your dollar is losing value. And that's going to naturally force investors to start doing other things, like going over to the euro, going over to the yen, going over to the Aussie. I mean, if you look at the Australian dollar right now against the yen, yeah, that's trading a little bit negative for the day. And of course, when that is down, you naturally assume the stock market to be down. That is pretty much done exactly the same behavior as NASDAQ. But if they can consolidate here and hold out, especially at the psychological low, that could be a promise that we could end up seeing Aussie moving back up, which will naturally bring the stock market back up. But we're too prone to different changes in news. I'm looking right now to see if Trump's saying anything, but, you know, it's just not, something's not adding up. I mean, tomorrow we do have the core CPI, core PPI data coming out, and that will move the market. And they're expecting it to come in higher at 0.03%. Okay. So again, we're going to have another bout of data that is either going to come out good and the market's still not going to react. It just tells you that investors are just not comfortable with things, because even though euro and gold are still going up, it's telling you investors are seeking safe havens. They're not comfortable still, even though inflation's come down. So you've got low inflation or it's coming down, but your dollar is pointless. So the alternative, naturally, you think it would be Bitcoin. That's what you would naturally think. Tudor Jones, he thinks that's the case, right? How many of you hold Fetch? Look at this. Forget Bitcoin. Publicly traded firm building a 500 million crypto treasury with FET. Fetch AI, absolute monster token in my opinion. I've mentioned this before. And a lot of people picked it up and made a ton of cash off it when it was a stupid discount. I think it was like 6-7 cents or something like that. Now things just shot up to like $2-3, whatever it is. Let's have a look at what that price point is. Let's have a look at you. Where you at? Oh, now it's 79 cents still. Where was it? Yeah, man. Made a nice run up. Where was it? There you go, all the way up there. That was crazy. Back in then, man, that was wild when it made that move. How many of you actually hold this asset? It's getting, look at that. It's very choppy, man. You're getting slaughtered if you're trading that. Absolutely slaughtered. Yeah, no. Basically, listen, there is no concept of time with XRP. XRP doesn't work on the clock. It's 3 o'clock. Don't make me laugh, man. My head is burning. It's literally 3 o'clock. Oh, that was funny. That was funny. It's still, after inflation, after all of that information, it's just 1 cent near enough down from its 30-cent mark. What a bullshit story anyways. Any questions, ladies and gentlemen? Do we have anything for me? Because I want to try and keep this. Yeah, the Genius Act was sort of put out today. I think they passed it. Let's just have a look if they actually care about that. Circle IPO, man. It's just absolutely killing it. What's this? No, not interested in that. Here we go. Oh. BlackRock's been a little bit busy. 300 Bitcoin, 67, and 300 Bitcoin. So we're starting to see some purchases coming into the Viva La ETF. Not as much as I would expect it, but not bad. Let's be honest. It's doing all right. Let's go over to the order flow of Bitcoin. So, yeah, we've got some interest down here. We've got 32 million at 108,350. And the offers are starting to come into play right now. 110,350 right there, excuse me. So, yeah, it's been quiet, ladies and gentlemen. It has been quiet. The fact that Bitcoin has moved away from its Asian session range to the upside and it's just now stayed in that zone, it is showing signs of strength. There's a lot of accumulation here. And the fact it didn't even take out yesterday's New York low is very, very interesting. Very good price action. Tino is the type of guy to have his wife sit in the back for better weight distribution. That's funny. Okay. What's he saying? Not laughing now. You always made fun about XRP. Not laughing now, are you? What are you talking about, man? I will always take the piss out of XRP. I don't care. XRP is a waste of time. It's a dustbin coin. It's dead. It's shocking. And if you hold a lot of it, then you're in the same predicament as me. What to do with it? It's dog. How can you be at the same price every single day? My gosh. I'm just going to do this right now, just so you can understand my frustration, okay? We're going to go over to the 4-month... we're going to go over to the 4-month time frame, okay? Just to help you guys understand my frustration. XRP broke out of the XRP formation. There. Each of these candles is 4 months long, man. Out of all this time, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Just counting 21 candles, all right? Out of 21 candles, I'm not going to include these dojis right here. But out of 21 candles, 1, 2, 3-ish, 4. 4 candlesticks. It closed strong. 2 of them managed to just go somewhere. How can you not be pissed off with it? What do you mean who's laughing now? People are laughing at us, my bro, because we still got it. Honestly, it just blows my brain. If you've got any opinions on XRP, ladies and gentlemen, for God's sake. Oh, look at that. It's literally a meme coin. It really is. Honestly, it's just, there's no structure to it. I mean, it's great for the scalping traders, man. Like, you can guarantee you ain't getting liquidated on XRP. And if you get liquidated on XRP, quit trading altogether. You can't get liquidated on XRP when it moves up 5 cents in a month or down. Anyways, any other questions, guys? XRP is the silver. No, XRP is a rock. It does nothing. You got more volatility on USDT. Look, here you go. They said they'll always go back to the wicks. I mean, look at that for volatility, man. And then you go to XRP and it's like exactly the same shit. Oh, anything else? You got bored. Fair enough. Fair enough. Tino, it looks like gold might go to 3,400 in Asia. What's your thoughts? Platinum member. What's good? Dre, what's good, man? I'll be letting you know about that. very shortly with gold, because we are going to have a very interesting Asian session. Obviously, if you want to get insight into what happens after the markets close going into Asia, becoming a platinum member gives you access to that. But with that, you get these PDFs, and the PDFs are all breakdowns of the system. So if you are a scalper and you want to know how to play the Brinks box, then you've got checklist part 8. You want to break down the madness of the macros and understand the CPI data, the inflation, the interest rates, the carry trades and all that, go into the breaking down the macro madness, okay? And then, of course, you've got the block trade principle. And then followed that, you've got the red vector candle strategy. And then you've got V-shapes. Those of you that like V-shaped reversals, we've been getting lots of V-shaped reversals. And the criteria in this PDF is exactly what you would have seen right here on the NASDAQ yesterday when it made that sweep to the downside on the 1 minute time frames. Bring up the 5 minute chart just to put into perspective. There we go. This play right here. That criteria there, it's literally all of it is in that PDF so that you can identify it. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, frankly, right, if you just wait for NASDAQ to do something stupid like this, you're going to get it every day. I mean, look, they did it here, okay? They spiked lower, come back to vectors V-shape, come down, back up to vectors V-shape. Of course, you're not getting that much of a big move. You got to take whatever you can get. But just simply waiting for an attack to the downside or a significant move to the upside, quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, I would personally avoid shorting the NASDAQ unless you do capture the momentum. Because generalistically, people are optimistic, so that when prices are going down, people are favoring bids. It means that they're buying as it's going lower. There's an expectation that price is going to come back up by the order of bid and ask. Because if you're hitting so many bids and the price is going down, there's going to be an instance where you've got sellers that are effectively trapped in these ranges. And that naturally implies that the offers are going to start getting triggered, and then price will make a reversal to the upside. That's simplified understanding that logic when you look at the vector candles, because you can assume they're going to come back to those zones. But one aspect to it is the stopping volume candle. You see that candlestick right there? That's a stop start in the marketplace. That's where price is going, and then it just stops and then instantly reverses, because they would have trapped enough traders to the downside and all the absorption would have come into play, and then they would have just reversed it all the way back up. But you know, when these markets actually fix themselves, and then Trump is not talking about tariffs anymore, and he's just going around the world just talking to people about, you know, climate change and what have you, then of course it's going to be much easier to exploit these. But if you're trading in these environments, they are difficult to snap. You know, you've got to really capture the movement. You've got to capture the one move. Now, some of you might look at it and be like, okay, what about other aspects to trading, like the opening range breakout, which is similar to what the Brinks box is? It all depends, but you can see what the day's like. It's just absolute madness, up and down. It's just crazy. The only session that you really want to be trading is Asia, in my opinion. It just looks so much more cleaner. Look at Bitcoin. It just moves so nicely. I forget what's been going on, but you know, Asian session just works like a treat. It's just a beautiful time. You haven't got Trump talking away. Look at that for a clean move to the upside. That's beautiful. No BS, no Besant, no Hassan, no Livette. No one's talking. And it's just China and Asia, well, the Asian session. And they're like, yeah, okay, he's probably asleep right now. He's got to sleep at some point. And that's when the markets move in Asia, in my opinion. So, you know, I think Israel is planning to attack Iran. Well, if they're planning on doing that, look, we've had Ukraine attack Russia, right? They've been going off with these drones. That's not doing anything to the markets. It really isn't. But you can tell that the market is actually concerned about that story, because when Trump yesterday mentioned that the talks with Iran about nuclear warheads, that's what sent the NASDAQ down. And he said it was an aggressive discussion. So you don't want to have a feeling of falling out. So the market dropped, but then it comes straight back up. This is the breakout on Bitcoin right now. Tina, what do you think about Dogecoin? I mean, Dogecoin, man, there's no hype behind it. It's just going to move the same way Bitcoin does. I mean, because it's as an altcoin, naturally I expect it to try and come back up into the vector candles, because that's what you're getting. You're getting pumps, dumps, and anything that's dropped, they're going to be offering it out at some point. So just take that into consideration when you're trading it. God. Pino, may I ask how much money you have invested and or lost in XRP? Not an exact figure, just a rough estimate. Why do you think I fucking slate it every bloody day? That should answer your question, my bro. Here we go. Stablecoin bill passed. Just needs to be signed by Trump. Well, that's going to be great for Circle. I'd go and buy Circle. I would go and buy Circle. That is straight up me talking right there. I told you, man. I said, once Circle gets the IPO, right? I'm telling you, this is going to be the big boy right now. And Coinbase is going to be scratching. Brian Armstrong is going to be scratching his head. And he's going to wish he had hair to pull. You know? Hold on. Just wait for this dog. Here we go. Where is it? Circle Internet. Here we go. Right. Look at that. You're about to post a bill that's going to enable regulation on stable coins. This thing right here is going to move, man. We don't know about any funds holding it. Management holds around 3% of stock. We're going to wait for it to get with banks and funds. Okay. Debt is 2%, which is wonderful. That is brilliant. Okay. So it doesn't have that much debt. That is wonderful. Okay. So in its category, XYF. All right. So Chinese company provides personal finance services by connecting borrowers and investors through an internet platform to each purchase $20 million worth of common stock outstanding. I mean, that's $18 a share, but it's just shy of $1 billion in market cap. So, but I'm telling you now, Circle is going to be the one, ladies and gentlemen. It just fits the story. Stablecoin regulation bill getting passed. Circle IPO. Storming IPO performance. Storming. Even though when it opened, swept lower, come straight back up. There is interest in this massively. So I would be paying attention to this. It's probably going to come down a little bit. But quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, stepping into cryptocurrency as a stablecoin issuer, $117 a share. Yeah, this will easily clear $400 or $500 a share, in my opinion, with a market cap of potentially around, I don't know, we could be going into like the hundreds, 100 billion, 200 billion. Easy. No problem there, in my opinion. How do I see the sessions like yours? The way you see the sessions is you go to the Traders Reality homepage, okay? Because everything's on the homepage, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the homepage. Watch that video, get that PDF. Just download it. It's free, right? Tells you how to trade the hybrid system. Go down, join the Discord. There's madness that happens in there. Then you watch this video, okay? Shows you how to install both indicators. You click this one, it takes you to TradingView. Favorite it. Then when you've done that, click this one, TR4, MT4 sessions, click that, favorite it. And then you should end up having the two indicators up here, TR4M sessions and TR main, right there, okay? And then you'll have the sessions like mine. And please smash the like button. Why were the earnings for Oracle such a big headline today? Let's just have a look at Oracle earnings. Did they come out? It should say. We should have it. Yeah, it beats its quarterly revenue estimates. Okay? Oracle, man. That's a big market cap stock. If we just go and have a look at Oracle. Anyone hold Oracle? Oh my days. There you go. All right. Yeah. 494 billion. They've just done well on their earnings. Getting ready to potentially break out. Volume isn't there. That's a problem for me. But look, 876% debt, man. For God's sake. You know? But fund owners are stepping into it. That's a lot of debt, man. That is a lot of debt. But their earnings per share is projected as an increase. We go over to the quarterly earnings. Are they accelerated? No. So you've got a deceleration in the earnings in the quarterly earnings. And for those of you that do watch for stocks and you invest in stocks on a longer term, Just look at the quarterly earnings. If they are decelerating, you've got slowdown or growth, growth slowdown, right? But if they are accelerating quarter on quarter, then that's a good sign. It means there's demand consumption, right? So if you look at their earnings and their sales, it was 17% on the earnings on August the 31st, 2024, and 7% on sales. We go into the next quarter in November 30th, 2024. It was 10% on earnings, 9% on sales. So you can see there's a deceleration right there, but sales came in a little bit higher. And then, of course, ended in February 28, 25. You've got 4% earnings, 6% sales. So naturally, you're seeing that there is a deceleration in earnings and sales, but price action is going higher, but volume isn't there. That's the problem. Volume is not there. Look, it's just dropping and price is going up. So we would need to see a significant amount of liquidity coming into this. Of course, in the out of hours market, ORCL, let's just have a look, see if they've actually done that. Let's just go over and have a look. ORCL. Let's see in the out of hours. We got a gap up. I believe we do we? Yes, we do, man. Look at that. 176 at the close, and it's now trading at nearly $188 a share in out of hours. So that's going to be a big day for Oracle tomorrow. And that's a big market cap as well. So that could actually fuel the market, assuming that they do keep it at these ranges to the upside. Okay, cool. Anything else, ladies and gentlemen, other than that? Well, where's my chat? Oh, my God, I've lost the chat. I have lost the chat. Here we go. Tina, hey, Tina. Trump just called for a 100 basis point rate cut after this morning's CPI report. Do you think the Fed could even consider it, or is it just political pressure with no real chance? There will not be a 100 basis point cut. No, they will not do that. They will not do that. If we had a reading of 2% today, okay, naturally we would get the cut. But we don't. All right. And that's because it says here, look at this. The below forecast consumer price index added to evidence consumers have yet to feel the pinch of tariffs. So the reading that come out today, ladies and gentlemen, is not great. That's probably why the market didn't move, because we don't feel the full effect of tariffs just yet. Capiche? What time is it? Okay. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, mad love and respect to you. And I will be checking in with you all tomorrow morning because we do have data coming out. Hit the like button and subscribe, but just be safe out there, man. And I hope you've learned a thing or two. All right? Take care of yourselves, gang. Mad love. Peace.